Hello YouTube, and welcome to the Red Rocket Arms channel. By special request today we'll look at a side-by-side comparison of two rifles that you see here. The top rifle is the M1 Carbine and the bottom rifle is the Ruger Mini-14. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things that make them similar and some of the things that are different about them. So this will be a very quick tabletop review. So to kind of talk a little bit about the specifications, first of all, the M1, this is a 30 caliber rifle. As you can see, this is the actual round, the size of the round that you'll see in this weapon. And you can see compared to the 223 in the Ruger, there's quite a bit of difference. It has an overall length of barrel of 18 inches from butt to muzzle. It's about 36 inches. It weighs in at about 5 3/4 pounds. That's loaded with the magazine and 15 rounds. As you can see, there are two magazines here. This is the military issue 15 round magazine. It is a steel magazine. As you can see, this one's in the white a little bit. And this is an aftermarket 30 round magazine. For the Mini-14, it's chambered in 223 Remington. It's a very popular round for hunting rifles as well as some military rifles. It has a barrel length of 18.5 inches, so you can see side by side barrels are very, very similar in length. It weighs in at 6 3/4 pounds fully loaded. You can see maybe the reason for that. The stock appears to be a little bit thicker all the way through. The butt stock is also a little bit thicker. You can see both rifles. And there's just much more metal. If you look at the receivers, appears to be just ever so slightly more metal. So I think that accounts for the difference in the weight for these two rifles. A little bit about the history of the M1. It was designed originally as a light hunting rifle. Some of the research that I conducted tells me that there were actually a couple of guys at the Winchester factory that in their spare time had kind of been putting together a gas-operated, air-cooled, lighter hunting rifle. And this occurred around 1938. Well, when the Army decided it needed a lighter rifle than the Garand, they put out what I would call a solicitation to develop a weapon that would fit their needs, a lighter rifle. And interestingly enough, Winchester was charged with designing the round for a weapon that really didn't exist. They decided they wanted to use a 30 caliber round, and they used the round first, the cartridge first, and then they developed the rifle. So a supervisor at Winchester received the letter that they're developing this rifle. He remembers the two guys that are kind of putting this hunting rifle together in their spare time, and he goes to them, he presents them with the cartridge that had been approved by the government and says, hey, you need to develop your rifle for this cartridge. And so they did. So in 1941, I believe September of 41, they held the trials, and the M1 Carbine eventually was awarded a production contract. So it's very similar because the Mini-14 was also designed as a light hunting rifle. So as you can see, not only are they similar in appearance, mechanically they're very similar, but in purpose they're also very similar. There's a particular version, as you can see, this has the complete buttstock here. There is a paratrooper version that was produced in World War II that has a folding stock. And that particular version is much rarer. There were only about 100,000 of those produced according to the research that I've conducted. Some of you may be experts and know a little bit more about that, but so they command a premium. As far as the Mini-14, these were produced originally from 1974 until 2004. This particular version is a 1980 version. There is a folding stock version of this. As you can see, this has the full buttstock also. It also has the stainless steel. This also comes in blued. But that was discontinued in 1990. There was a perception, I think perpetuated by the media, that the folding stock somehow created an assault type weapon, and that was discontinued in 1990. So to take a look at the magazines, as I mentioned, this is a 15-round government issue magazine. This is a 30-round aftermarket magazine. Just to give you an idea of what these look like, and you see there's no rounds here, what they look like with the magazines in them. This is a 5-round factory magazine. This is a 30-round Ruger factory magazine, but this actually came with this magazine. I believe this is for California. Some of you may know more about that than I do. But when you put the magazine in, you almost can't even see it. If you look at the profile of the rifle, you almost can't even see it. And then if you look at the profile of the carbine, the M1 Carbine. The ejector system is a little bit different, the magazine ejector. On the M1 Carbine, as you can see, it's actually a button, and when you push the button, the magazine comes out. On the Mini-14, it's a little bit different. As you can see, it actually has an ejection lever. If you push that forward, the magazine will eject. Just compare the rounds that each one shoots. You see the difference in these two rounds. The safety on the M1 Carbine is here right off of the trigger housing. It's a little selector switch that goes up and down. On the Mini-14, it's very similar to the Garand. Clicks into the trigger guard and out. The slides, as you can see, are very similar. As you can see on the M1 Carbine, when you slide, the bolt carrier rotates. Same is true with the Mini-14. Interesting enough, when you look at the receiver, the top-down view, as you can see, they both look very similar. They both have this area at the rear of the receiver. The sights are very similar. Both have rear aperture adjustable sights. As far as the top handguard, they are also very similar. So you can see they're both wood in construction. The Mini-14 has a front blade sight. And you can see there's a sling mount at the front and at the rear. The M1 Carbine has a rabbit ears sight on the front. It also has a sling mount on the side, and you'll notice that this particular rifle has the bayonet mount. The rear, however, does not have a sling mount. This particular recessed area is where the sling strap would actually come down into this area, and it would be held in on the back side by a small metal oiler tube. That tube would go through the end of the strap, and the pressure from this side would actually hold the oiler in, and the strap would come down the side. As you can see, they both have wooden stocks. As far as the butt plate, it's a one-piece butt plate held in by a single screw, and the same is true with the Mini-14. It's a single, looks like more of a composite plastic butt piece, but it also is held in by a single screw. I don't know how well this will show up, but I'll try to give you. So, as a bonus, this is an M4 bayonet. I don't know a lot about these. I'm not an expert on these. My understanding is these are leather grips. It has the proper markings. Here's the back end of it. And this actually fits on to the end of the ring, fits onto the end of the muzzle and clips into place. And then it has two little pinch that you pinch to remove it. It comes right off. It comes in a green plastic sheath. I don't know how well you can see the markings there. It still has the lanyard at the bottom. On the back it's got some markings. And it has the jungle utility belt holder here. So that's just a little bonus for those of you that are interested in World War II, Korean War memorabilia. I don't know where this came from. But that's my side-by-side comparison. If you have any comments or if you have more information, I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll tune in again next time. Until then, be safe.